Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're jumping into the world of watches. Specifically, we're looking at one piece that keeps coming up, Reviewers, enthusiasts, they're calling it the unsung king of affordable watches. We're talking about the Orient Bambino. And our mission today really is to figure out why. Why does this watch get so much love? We've looked through all the stuff you shared, articles, reviews, forum posts. I'm actually really curious to see what makes it tick, so to speak.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The Bambino really has stepped up, especially after the original Seiko SKX was discontinued. That SKX, it was a legend for value.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And sure, it came back as the Seiko 5 Sports SKF series, but,
Right.
well, it changed. The case got bigger.
Oh,
What was it, 42.5 millimeters wide, almost 14 thick.
right.
And the price jumped quite a bit, around $425, give or take. So the Bambino, even though its price has, maybe it crept up a little bit, sometimes just over $300, it's still seen as just incredible value. People consistently say it feels like a watch that should cost like 5 times as much. Yeah, it really punches above its weight. A lot of that is down to Orient's knack for details, like the applied markers or super crisp, the dial finishing, stuff you usually see on much more expensive pieces.
Okay, that's a pretty bold claim, though. 5 times the price feel.
Right.
For listeners maybe thinking, $300 is still $300, what is it that lets Orient deliver that? What's their secret sauce?
Right. Well, that leads us straight to Orient itself, the company. They have quite a history. Officially, the company dates back to 1950, but its roots go even further, like way back to 1901, a small watch and clock wholesale shop in Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
Now, today, Orient is part of the Seiko Epson Corporation. But here's the key thing, and it's really interesting. They operate with a pretty remarkable degree of independence from Seiko, even though they're under the same umbrella. Both are vertically integrated, meaning they make pretty much everything themselves.
I see. So they're related, but not quite the same operation day to day.
Exactly, and that independence seems crucial. Seiko might be chasing, high-tech spring drive or whatever, but Orient's autonomy lets them really focus, lets them optimize their existing tech and manufacturing for incredible cost efficiency.
Okay, so that translates directly into the value we see in the Bambino.
Precisely. And the Bambino model itself, it's not new. It's been around over a decade, but you could argue it's probably the single watch most responsible for Orient's growing reputation among watch fans these last few years.
Yeah, it really seems like it. It's kind of amazing, isn't it, how one design can make such waves. And what gets me is, despite all the different versions, and there's quite a few, they all stick to that core classical style.
Right.
What is it about that design that just works so well and, makes it feel so valuable?
It really is the details, the little things that add up. The Applied Orient logo, for example. It's really sharp, very nicely done. The way the text and numbers are printed, it's got this highly stylized typography. But the thing that sources often mention, what they say really steals the show, the applied Roman numerals on some versions.
Oh, yeah.
They're seen as just elevating it way beyond any competition. Which, frankly, at this price, there isn't much direct competition, according to many reviewers. You see it in specific examples, like the V2 with the rose gold accents is really popular, but also the all-steel one with the blued hands. Those blue hands look fantastic. They really pop against the dial and complement the logo. It just creates this cohesive, almost premium look.
Right.
Much more than you'd expect.
It sounds like they nailed that classic look across the board. But, okay, it's often called a dress watch, right? How versatile is it really? According to the sources, can you actually wear it every day? I noticed mentions of that 38-millimeter version that came out in 2022, I think, and then later on a bracelet. That sounds like it might add, a bit more casual flexibility.
Oh, absolutely. That 38-millimeter version was a smart move, especially putting it on a bracelet option later. It definitely broadens the appeal. While the Bambino, at its heart, is quite dressy, that smaller size, and the bracelet especially, they definitely nudge it towards being more versatile, more casual, without losing that core elegance,
Yeah.
It just gives you more options for how you want to integrate that style into your day.
Okay, so we've covered the looks, the feel, the history, but what's actually inside? What's powering this thing? What movement are we talking about with the Bambino?
Right, the engine. Inside, it's the caliber F6724. And this is significant because unlike the movement in the original Seiko SKX, this one offers hacking. So the second hand stops when you pull the crown out, lets you set the time precisely. And it has hand winding. You can actually wind it up yourself, which is great for keeping it topped up if you don't wear it every day.
Those are definitely useful features. Big upgrades from the old SKX movement.
For sure. Now, let's be realistic. It's not billed as an accuracy monster or
Mm,
anything, and you don't get an exhibition case back to see it. It's hidden behind a solid steel back, but it's a solid, utilitarian movement that just works. And here's the kicker. Because Orient operates so autonomously within Seiko Epson, this movement is considered in-house.
right. You mentioned their independence.
Yeah, and finding an in-house caliber in a watch that looks this good, a real knockout dress watch, for around what, $210 sometimes, depending on the sale and model, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, in-house at that price point is almost unheard of.
Yeah.
That really underscores the value proposition, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's a huge part of why it gets called the value king.
It really does sound almost too good to be true. But, there's usually something, right? Even with the best value propositions.
Yeah.
What's the main complaint or gripe that comes up in the sources about the Bambino? And maybe beyond that obvious point, do people mention any other potential trade-offs, like, I don't know, long-term durability, servicing costs, anything like that? Or is it really seen as pretty much flawless for the money?
You're right. There's usually one little thing, isn't there? And with the Bambino, it's pretty consistently the strap, the OEM strap it comes on. It often looks a bit like patent leather, kind of shiny.
Right.
But the feel is apparently a bit, well, rough around the edges, is how one source put it. Feels a little plasticky or stiff sometimes.
The classic affordable watch strap issue.
Exactly. It's almost a running joke, isn't it? Buy a great affordable watch, immediately budget for a new strap.
Okay.
And yeah, reviewers confirm most owners swap it out pretty quickly.
Fair enough. So the strap's the main target.
Pretty much. Beyond that, the sources are overwhelmingly positive. You really don't see major complaints about durability or servicing issues. I think partly because that F6-724 movement is known to be pretty robust, and Orient generally has a reputation for solid build quality, especially for the price. So yeah, aside from planning to maybe get a nicer strap, it's genuinely seen as an exceptionally solid deal with very few real compromises.
Okay, so summing this all up for you listening, our deep dives really shows how the Orient Bambino delivers on that exceptional value promise. It's this blend of classic good looks, that unique in-house movement, and the company's interesting history. It makes it way more than just, a cheap watch. It's a really smart way into mechanical watches, or just a genuinely impressive piece to add to a collection without breaking the bank.
Absolutely. That idea of it being such a great return on investment, it really resonates. There just aren't that many watches today, especially mechanical ones, that offer this much bang for your buck. It's a true standout, and for very good reasons.
So here's a final thought to maybe chew on. Thinking about this Bambino, this value king. Yeah, you never really know how long something like this will last, right? Prices creep up, models change. So what qualities in any kind of product or even an idea make it truly unsung or a king in its space? What allows something to offer that kind of disproportionate value, that feeling that it punches way above its weight, even when the market changes around it? What makes something so fundamentally good, it sort of transcends its price tag? Something to think about.